How many times have you been misunderstood in a conversation with someone else? I'm sure there are many times when you would say, like, man, I just don't understand this person, or I am clearly being misunderstood here. The truth is that none of us want to be misunderstood. None of us appreciate having misunderstandings in any of our dealings with other people. The truth is that when we feel misunderstood, it often brings misunderstandings. It can lead to so many feelings of frustration. And so today we want to discuss why people may not understand you. And be able to fix it. We want to fix it. All right. So the truth is, everyone has different communication styles. One of the biggest reasons why people may not understand you is because of a lack of clarity in what you're saying. Sometimes you may think that you're expressing yourself in a clear way, but to someone else, it's like, what exactly are you trying to say? One of the best ways to combat that is to, first and foremost, before you provide any kind of statement or you maybe get into a more complicated conversation, have a conversation with yourself. What is it that I'm trying to say? What is it that I want to achieve in this conversation? How is it that I want to come across? And be able to synchronize your points. I want to accomplish this. I want to say this, and this is how I want to say it. So that you have a clear path between yourself and the other person. Sometimes we use ambiguous language. Sometimes we're saying things like, well, maybe this, or, I'm just, I'm not really sure, but maybe. It's like, no. Sometimes we're misunderstood because we are just not clear, and we are using language that is vague. Sometimes it's because we just are not able to be honest about what we're actually thinking and feeling and what's actually happening. So we find ourselves circling around something, kind of using all this kind of meandering kind of language and conversation. And the person gets very irritated, they get frustrated, and now misunderstandings happen because you're just not clear and you're definitely not being honest. Sometimes there's just not enough context offered for what you're hoping to explain to someone. If you give someone enough context, then the person does not have so much room to speculate and to start raising that eyebrow like, well, you said this, but why didn't you do this? And then now when you come back to explain, now they start thinking you're shady. Now they start thinking that, okay, well, you purposely left that out. It's like, no. It's like, no. Just provide the necessary context for whatever you're trying to explain. We are not trying to omit things. For many people, lying is because of omission. It's not that you went out to lie, but it's what you withheld that disturbs them. So when you're trying to be understood, make sure that you provide sufficient context for what you're trying to say. So let's jump into how to fix it. Number one, we can use reflective listening skills. So are you trying to say this? Or is this what you're hoping to say? This is what I'm getting for what you're saying. Is this what you mean? Hey, this sounds like this. Is that what it sounds like you're feeling like this. Is this how you're feeling? And be able to do that. The beautiful thing about it is that when you're tracking with the person, when you're listening, you're not there scrolling on your phone, you're not distracted, you are able to truly get a good grasp on what someone is trying to say. And you can reflect back to them, this is what I think, so that we're not lost in how we're trying to understand each other. And it definitely lessens the likelihood that we're being misunderstood. So yeah, definitely being able to reflect back meaning, reflect back feeling, and also being able to use the active listening skills and not being distracted. Another one is to not jump to conclusions. When you are striving to minimize misunderstandings in your conversations, in your interactions, just don't jump to conclusions. Don't assume that you know what the person's trying to say, what they mean, you're trying to interpret this person, read their mind, read all their feelings, read between the lines of what they're not saying. Just don't jump to conclusions. Ask them, is this what I am getting? This is what I'm leaving this conversation with. And they can say, no, actually, no, this is not what I'm trying to say, etc. And then, of course, minimizing misunderstandings can also be done by, again, being honest. Being honest about where you are with things and what you want. And one of the things that I've seen with misunderstandings is that if you allow a misunderstanding to go on for very long, now Satan has the opportunity to make this much bigger than what it was. Learn to nip misunderstandings in the bud right away. Do not allow yourself to leave a conversation and interaction. You're confused, you're not clear, but you leave that conversation, you leave that interaction, and now you start making something that is not this big, that big, because you allowed yourself to leave that space. No, stay in that space. And if you find that you cannot gain clarity, then maybe you can invite someone else to help you gain clarity. And maybe you can also, invite someone to say, hey, we're not able to understand one another. Please help us. That's the beautiful thing about not living unto yourself. It's okay to sometimes say, for whatever reason, we are not understanding each other. We keep having a misunderstanding. We keep having these miscommunications. We need tools and resources in how to communicate more effectively. And that brings me to this book. This is a phenomenal book called People Skills, How to Assert Yourself, Listen to Others, and Resolve Conflicts by Robert Bolton. And I will link it in the description. You guys, the truth is, we want to minimize misunderstandings. You want to be understood. Just practice being clear, practice being honest, practice using reflective listening skills, active listening skills, and just practice making sure that you allow someone to ask for clarification. Don't get frustrated when they say, I don't understand. Don't get impatient. They're genuinely trying to understand you, and that's what we want. All right. I would love to hear about your experiences in the comment section. Leave a comment below. I would love to hear about how you navigate misunderstandings and be misunderstood or misunderstanding someone else. I will also link some of the videos that I've done on some of these topics of frustration and communication. So wonderfully excited to share that resource with you. We'll see you guys next time. Give yourself some grace.